We're about to hunt some monsters.
What is up, Flick fans? Welcome back to my channel, Monster Hunter, based on the video game drops in theaters this weekend. Are you guys checking out this brand new action-heavy monster hunting movie? Let's talk about it. So when Lieutenant Artemis and her loyal soldiers are transported to a new world, they engage in a desperate battle for survival against enormous enemies with incredible powers. This, of course, is based on the video game by Capcom. Paul W.S. Anderson. Let's start there. Our director directing movies like the 1995 Mortal Kombat film, the Resident Evil franchise, Event Horizon, so we know the exact kind of film that we're getting here. All we can hope for is that it's fresh enough, fun enough, full of enough action to get us to the next movie that we're going to watch. At least that was kind of my hope going in, because I'm normally just not big on his films. I think the first Resident Evil, at least certain ones, are kind of fun, and he's often teaming up with Milla Jovovich. And Jovovich is, as she always is, a force to be reckoned with. One thing that W.S. Anderson does really well is turn her into one of the most B.A. actors we see in any film. Even though the movies that she's in, they're normally not the best, she's awesome. She really knows how to get physical and make us believe that she and a few of these other characters can take on these huge, crazy beasts. I love the creature design. Now, I could compare to the video games, and while I've played here and there at a friend's house once or twice, I've never really partaken in the frenzy that is Monster Hunter, but I will say it looks extremely fun. And that's the basic premise of this review. You know exactly where this review is going to go. If you're expecting a movie that is going to do anything other than provide you a few fun action scenes here and there, then I don't know what to tell you, because this is not that film. This movie is going to provide you a few fun action scenes here and there, even though the majority of them are shot in a way that is sloppily edited together, and I couldn't really tell what was going on. You have someone like Tony Jaa, and we've seen what he's been able to do before, and they don't take advantage of his talents. I'm sure the choreography was fine, but you can't really tell that it's fine because we're switching camera angles every 2 seconds. So many different edits in this film that I just wasn't a fan of. And I don't know why we're doing something like that when you have actors of this caliber. I know Jovovich is able to do some of this, and we saw it in the Resident Evil franchise. We just kind of cut away and then cut back and then cut back away to her action scenes. And here, even though they're taking on these huge, actually cool-looking monsters, I mean, the CGI wasn't perfection, but for the most part, they captured scale extremely well. And some of the shots, I'm talking very few moments of cinematography when they would follow whatever weapon, whether it's this huge crossbow that our characters were wielding, into the face of the beasts. I thought that was pretty cool, but they only do it 2 to 3 times, and everything else is just this sloppily put together action film with no story. Zero story. What I read you is literally exactly what happens, except we could have used something to get to know these characters. Now, if you've played the video game, first of all, I don't know how faithful this is to the video game, so I'm not sure where you all will be in terms of how that makes you feel. But if you play the video game, then at least you have an idea of who these characters are, so maybe you won't be as upset as I was not learning a darn thing about anyone except slightly, I guess, the character of Artemis, because we're with her through most of the film. But even then, who is she? T.I. is in this film. I actually think he's really good in the Ant-Man films, but for some reason the dialogue delivery here just didn't work for me. And I don't know if it's the actor's fault. I don't think it's the actor's fault. I honestly just think it's poor direction, a poor script. When you don't have much given to you, it's hard to give a great performance. So I'm not going to blame anyone who took on this film. Because, again, if you just kind of turn your brain off and have a little fun with it, and I won't lie, I'm not going to go crazy low with my score, because even though it was ridiculous moment after ridiculous moment, and it didn't give me anything that I wanted from the source material, I knew we were going to get a movie like this. I was still like, all right, you beating up on monsters? That's pretty cool. We get Ron Perlman doing whatever on God's green earth he was doing here. I don't know what he was doing. It was lunacy, but I didn't have the worst time while watching. This movie is ridiculous. It is. But I have a feeling some people are going to have a little fun with it. Some people are going to be able to turn their brain off. Most aren't. and that's okay. But Monster Hunter is literally exactly what I expected. Some cool moments, a lot of ridiculousness, and monster hunting in Monster Hunter. So, I need you in the comments down below. Are you watching this in theaters this weekend? Are you a fan of the games? And if you've seen this film, let me know, what are some big differences here? I'm sure they're present. As for my score, I'm going to 30% for Monster Hunter. I just, you want a movie like this to give you more, even though, again, it is the film that I expected. That's the moral of the day, folks. There's a trend. They expect something like this to follow. It followed that trend and felt like an early 2000s movie. So, Monster Hunter. You guys checking it out. Appreciate it big time. And I'll see you with another review.